If you have certain times of the year, date, special events, or holidays that are most valued based on previous experiences or even just most recent experiences, then you need to stay tuned into this special episode here on Radio Medium. It's Know Your Worth with my special guest expert, Todd Bresney, who is an attorney at law. He's also the owner of Kanoski Bresney. Welcome, Todd.
Thank you, Laura. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're back with us. Can you tell us from your experience what you've learned in the courtroom about special events or holidays or times of the year that people value most?
Yeah, when we're judged, it aligns with recent studies that have come out that far and wide prove that the value of our great experiences is worth far and away more than short-term appreciation and good feelings we might have with a material purchase. Just routine things that we do during the year. Your experiences and what you choose to do with your life and how you enjoy those experiences are things that create value.
Can you give us an example of what you mean by our routine experiences?
Well, yeah, all of us can remember that special birthday, when we woke up and we were surprised by a gift from our parents. You remember the time of year that you're scheduling your big trip that you're going to have, take the kids, or even around the holidays. Everyone's filled with goodwill and optimism because there's so much going on in our communities, and it gives us optimism for the next year. And I think that we take those things for granted, but we always plan around these special circumstances every year. Our birthdays, our anniversaries, our loved ones' birthdays, holidays, summer break, even the seasons of the year. And so those things are how we think about our lives, whether we believe it or not. 28 years, to get people to remember harms, losses, or things that have occurred to them, they do so in a time frame of that construct. Well, it was around Valentine's Day. And that's how I know this.
Oh, right.
Or I wasn't able to pick up my child or hold my grandbaby because of this. And that's when we start realizing, when we miss them, how valuable those experiences are. I got an amazing example, one client in particular. This was between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I had a client that unfortunately was on his way back from choir practice from the local church, small town. And he got hit by a drunk driver at a high rate of speed who then fled. And he was hurt pretty seriously, but it wasn't life-threatening at that point. And of course, we had to file suit and go after the insurance. And in the course of doing that, unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries about 6 months into it. A hidden injury that took his life. I became very close friends with him, and he lived long enough to thank me for helping him, and I'll always cherish that experience. When I spoke to his widow after he passed, it just broke my heart to learn about one of her own experiences. When she met him, they were late in life. And he had lived alone on a small farm, and he had this outbuilding that was filled with cars that he liked to work on. And they were making this big dinner with the family, and all of a sudden they saw smoke outside, and the whole place was burning down. And the whole family knew how much he loved those cars, and they were all in tears. And she looked to her left to tell her boyfriend how sorry she was, and he was down on one knee, tears streaming down his face. He looked her in the eye and said, "If this is the worst that life has to give me, I'll be able to deal with it as long as you're with me. Will you marry me?"
Aww.
And those stories, those are the experiences that are what life is all about. And those are priceless.
What do you think is most important to take away from this message about special times of the year?
Don't forget about them. I think that we enjoy them, we embrace them, we do things actively that celebrates them every time they come up. Hold that new grandbaby or your child as much as you can. Go to the game, go to the dances, go to a party, sing carols, go dancing. Do the things that we might have taken for granted after a certain number of years on this planet. Try not to forget about them and how valuable they are to you and how much they really create optimism in your own life and just happiness.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us today. Where can people find Todd Bresney?
BresneyLaw.com or 888, the letter U, count the number 2. We're glad to help you if you've been seriously injured or harmed.
Wonderful. Thank you. If you like this episode and you want more, please subscribe, rate it, share it with your family and friends, and thank you for joining us today.